our final story on one of the older directors that has a strong place in the history of Hollywood and a strong actor in the history of Hollywood. We're gonna go with Clint Eastwood, and a man 93 years old. He is planning to film his final film titled Juror Number Two for Warner Brothers. The film, the logline says, follows a juror on a murder trial who realizes that he may have caused the victim's death and must decide whether to turn himself in or manipulate the jury. He's going to write and direct this project. There's no talks of him having a role here. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like one of the jurors, but he's actually eyeing a younger actor to lead this movie. Ricky Flicks, I love the idea that he's not starring in this movie, but wants to write and direct it. I love the synopsis here. I think it's going to be a high tension movie. Thinking about like maybe this film from the perspective of juror number two, being around these other members of the jury, knowing he has a part in this crime that he sifted through, right? Or he slithered through the sifting process of jurors and still found himself in that position. It feels like this is a John Grisham adaptation in the mid 90s and Matthew McConaughey should be the juror. Like this feels like an insane story that like it's like a courtroom drama. We know what like great movies that turn from like courtroom settings. I feel like this is a great way to go out. And I like how he's not inserting himself as like the lead here when he easily could have, you know, and we've seen him make mistakes of putting himself in movies that makes you roll your eyes at. I love everything about this so far. I can't wait to see who gets cast.
This is awesome. Courtroom dramas are one of my favorite genres. I think psychological thriller, crime, and then courtroom drama, those are like my top three favorite genres in film. And this just screams at me, reminds me of Runaway Jury, John Cusack, 2003 movie, Rachel Weisz. And I think the reason why that movie was so good wasn't because of Cusack and Weisz, who were like the main two, were the two leads in the movie, male and female, but because you had great lawyers in the movie. You had Gene Hackman and Dustin Hoffman. And that's what I think Clint Eastwood needs to do here.
Good ensemble.
Yes, you need an ensemble. And if this is his last movie, similar to what we were talking about with Tarantino, not this week, but a couple weeks ago when the news got announced, who are you going to cast?
Morgan Freeman as the judge.
Morgan Freeman as a judge is a great call.
Yeah.
But I think Bradley Cooper's got to say, yep, I got to go one more time with this guy. Yeah. I got to go one more. You got to cast him. All right. And then maybe maybe who can you get for the other lawyer? Because I think the people in the jury, the lead should be a younger person, because if they have a moral dilemma like this, similar to John Cusack in 2003, it doesn't have to be super young, but younger, I would say, to help kind of lead this movie, drive this movie, not like kind of roll your eyes at the age of it. I would say gotta go bold here. Your final one, but gotta go bold, get a lead in, but then have that stability with the lawyers, similar to Runaway Jury. So then again, who can be an adversary to Bradley Cooper? Who can maybe play the villain type of lawyer here? You know, the Gene Hackman type,
the guy you root against.
And
it's got to be older. Because you need the young lawyer and then you need the older lawyer. You know, that's how it works. You can't have them be the same age. It's got to be the younger
Gene Hackman, Dustin Hoffman
are
similar, but I agree with you. I think that's a good call. So, all right, so who do you think? Who do you think should get cast here?
Dude, I would like a Dustin Hoffman or something like that as like an older lawyer.
Run it back.
Yeah, let's just put him in there. Or I mean, maybe someone a little bit younger. Maybe someone 60s. Tom Hanks. Brian Cox. Tom Hanks is still big of a name. But he does supporting stuff now.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman was like, that's actually like, I think, a weak part of the movie. Now I look back, the presence was there, but the problem is he was kind of just like a mediocre lawyer. He wasn't very good. No. So that was like a problem to me. Gene Hackman like kind of ran him over a lot, just like with his tactics, being on the corporate side. I don't know if you haven't seen Runaway Jury.
Ford. Let's get Harrison Ford in there. You know?
I finished Shrinking, by the way.
That's why it was on my mind. I was like, oh, Ricky Flick's been watching Shrinking.
Yeah, crazy ending it was, but like way too therapeutic and like CW vibes a lot.
Those are
Just
too many big names I was thinking about. We have Bradley Cooper and
Clint
Morgan
Eastwood's last movie.
Freeman. Yeah, and more. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So that might call for it.
Oh, I got one. Aaron Eckhart. Reunite him with Clint Eastwood from Sully. Harvey Dent. Get him here. Opposed
Lucius
to Bradley
Fox
Cooper
as judge
and Lucius Fox at the head. Yes.
I don't know. I feel like we have to think about this a little bit more, but I like where our head's at. And who's the guilty guy? We need a crazy person, like a David Dasmalchian.
David Dalmatian.
You need a crazy guy. You need a crazy guy. Let's keep going. I also want actually, I should say, it's interesting when this movie is coming out because he's releasing for Warner Brothers, and recently it's obviously Discovery acquired Warner Media. And according to a Wall Street Journal report, David Zaslav was the president and CEO of Discovery, now like Warner Media. He quote unquote grilled in-house executives on the making of Cry Macho, which was one of those releases in 2021 that were simultaneously on HBO Max and in theaters. And he said about that release, quote, "We don't owe anyone any favors," end quote. So like they made the movie just because Clint Eastwood wanted to make it. They thought it might be his last one. But now this movie must be pitched in a way where it's going to be his last one. It's guaranteed to do good business. And I don't think Warner Brothers would have agreed to do this unless it had a chance to be extremely successful. And I think that's a big reason why Clint Eastwood might not be in the movie itself. Right? It seems like the movies he's been in recently are pretty much irrelevant at the box office. You know, people don't want to go see 90-year-old Clint Eastwood lead, right, a movie about like smuggling drugs. You know, no one wants to see that. Like, how can we spice it up? And that's why I think like this next one could be special because it got the green light.
Yeah, and you think of Clint Eastwood movies where he's actually going for it, and it's not. His sole focus is on the movie and not actually acting in it. You think American Sniper, you know. So I like Invictus. I would say like that's more of a feel good movie, but still like successful. So Sully would be another one, but in all, like I think this is fantastic. Slaslav again, just running the ship, right in the ship. And I'm going to refer to Batgirl cancellation, $100 million every time this type of news happens with Warner Brothers and he's at the head because he's just ruthless and he's got to do what's necessary to actually put out good content because this is a reputable brand that over the past 10 years has not lived up to that branding. This is 100 years of Warner Brothers and the past 10 years have been an abomination to the brand that they are known for. So I think he's here to kind of get us back on the right path here. And last thing, Dr. O, it came out how much he earned last year, David Zaslav, yesterday. Do you know how much he made?
I don't even want to guess this one. Go.
Well, I know it.
Yeah, but, go. Tell me.
$39 million. $39 million. That's insane.
But I mean, if he can turn this around with Warner Brothers and give them the image of like obviously treating their filmmakers with respect and creating amazing projects that are once again like in Oscar territory or prestigious type of projects that also do well at the box office, I think well earned. Well earned. Let's see if he can pull it off here. I like the direction he's headed. And like the ruthlessness is what you need, right? There's so many projects that are greenlit that no one cares about and that aren't quality. Like, can he make projects like I said before, this sounds like a tagline for like a 90s film. And that's when like we think about like those non-franchise, non-IP movies that are released by major studios that were successful.
Yes.
This is like the heyday of like Warner Brothers and like those big ones, and like Clint Eastwood in the middle of directing it. That sounds perfect and sounds like almost like, yeah, it comes out, people are going to be saying we need more movies like this.